Hello, 8th graders, and welcome back. This is lesson 10.4, part 2. So make sure that if you are just tuning in, that you go back and you watch part 1 before you're watching part 2 here, okay? So where I left you off on part 1 was that you were solving these problems, and then coming back here, I now have them solved out, so I'm going to explain how to solve each one of these. So the biggest thing with your directions here, and what I had failed to mention in the first video, was the directions just ask you to simplify, okay? Write the expression using only positive exponents. So when I'm being given variables, obviously I don't know what the variable is unless they tell me, hey, b equals 4. But they didn't tell me that, and so I'm just going to use the same rules, apply, and I'm just going to try and simplify this as much as I possibly can. So for your problem number 7 here, your exponent is only with that x. And so when I do that, I just need to bring this x down to the bottom and change my exponent to 2. Your 8 is going to stay at the top as your numerator, okay? So I've got 8 out of x squared. For problem number 8 then, you have b to the 0 times b to the negative 10. Basically, you can use the same rule of you're adding your exponents. So a 0 plus, negative 10. Or you can already think of this as 1, okay? And you're just going to move this to the bottom. So the 1 is going to stay as your numerator. You move the b to the bottom, and you make sure that exponent is positive now, because we don't want anything with negative integers or exponents, because they said only positive exponents, okay? 9 is a little more tricky because the same rule applies here with these z's, is that you can divide with your exponents, or when you divide with those, you're really subtracting the exponents. This 15, though, has to stay on the bottom of the fraction. So it's going to stay as 1/15 because I ultimately get rid of these z's by doing the division part. So I subtract my exponents of the z's, so I get z to the negative 3, okay? Again, I don't want any negative exponents, so I bring this back down to the bottom with that 15, and I'm left with 1 out of 15z to the third. Okay, so because that z started at the bottom, or that 15 started at the bottom, I have to keep it at the bottom. Whereas all these other things stayed at the top, they weren't part of a fraction, so they're going to stay as your numerator. All right. Again, let me know if you've got any questions along the way. One part, if you were checking and listening to part number 1, was that there is a code word. Don't worry, I have not forgotten. Your code word should be coming up soon. Make sure that you understand how this code word works and that I can ask for it at any point, or if you're asking me that you have questions or you failed your big ideas and I tell you you need to redo them and I say, have you been watching your videos? If you don't give me the code word, I'm going to send you right back to rewatch them, okay? All right, so example number 3, what we're going to do for example number 3 is that we're actually going to skip that next on your own, but we will go through this example, okay? It is a real life example that we are going to try and solve here with some negative exponents. So your question asks, a drop of water leaks from a faucet every second. So if you've ever had a leaky faucet before, I know even for my own self, my bathroom sink always does this, no matter what. I almost have to always kind of get it, or, shut the faucet off just right so that it doesn't leak. So they're saying that a drop of water leaks from a faucet every second. How many liters of water leak from the faucet in 1 hour? Okay, so what we need to figure out is how many liters of water leak from the faucet in 1 hour. Biggest part here is going to be that 1 hour time, okay? Because the other part that's important to know is that the measurement they give me is only in seconds. So they say that a drop of water is this many liters. Okay, remember that this is only given every second. So I'm going to have 50 to the negative 2 liters every second being let out from the faucet. So the first thing we want to know is what we need to do is we need to convert this hour into seconds. Okay, So if we are going to think about converting your hour into seconds, so you have 1 hour, how many hours are there going to be, or sorry, so seconds, sorry, woo, 1 hour, we're changing it to seconds. So we have to go from an hour to minutes. Well, every single hour has 60 minutes, so I'm going to multiply it by 60. And from there, every minute has 60 seconds. So I'm going to also multiply it by 60. So I'm going to take 1 times 60 times 60. Well, the 1 really doesn't matter because it's just going to keep this the same. So I really ultimately just have the 60 times the 60. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. And then I just add in those 2 zeros. My problem has 2 zeros. My answer needs to have at least 2 zeros. Okay. So this is how many seconds are in my hour. Sec here. So I have 3,600 seconds in an hour. From there, then, I'm going to use the measurement they gave me, okay, which is this 50 to the negative 2. So I'm going to take that 3,600, and I'm going to multiply it by 50 to the negative 2. Okay. We don't ever like negative exponents, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the bottom of my fraction. So I'm going to create a fraction here. So really then I would have 3,600 out of 50 squared. Because again, I'm changing that exponent from a negative to a positive when I move it to the bottom. Okay. From there then, I'm going to figure out what is 50 squared. Well, 5 squared is 25. So if I'm just squaring my 50, it's 50 times 50. So I'm going to have 2,500. And again, I still have that 3,600 at the top. All right, it is code word time. Your code word for this lesson is cardinal. So cardinal, like the red bird, okay, the little red bird you see around. Again, your code word is cardinal, okay? Let's keep going then. So I've got 3,600 out of 2,500. This is where I would then plug it into a calculator and see division-wise what is it going to come out to be. So I just grab my calculator. If you don't have a calculator at home, just use your phone, or you can use the computer one to check your work. So 3,600. All right, looks to be that when I divide this, I get 1.44, okay? And it's going to be in the measurement of liters, because remember I wanted to figure out how many liters is it leaking? So how many liters, okay? So ultimately, after an hour, you'll lose 1.44 liters. So it's really important that you make sure you turn your faucet off if it's leaking, because you don't want to waste water for everybody else. Okay. So like I said, we are just going to skip this on your own. Don't worry about it. Okay. We will keep going. We're not going to do that part. Last page, so your normal page, your workbook pages. Remember, I've been just letting you do your workbook pages if you want some extra practice, but you are not required to do them right now because I don't know who has workbooks, who doesn't. I'm not sure about getting your workbooks out to you, what's kind of that expectation quite yet, and if you are to be coming back to school, whatever. So don't worry about your workbooks. I'm not going to worry about them. So the biggest thing, though, is make sure you get that homework done, which is going to be 10.4 on Big Ideas Math. Okay. So this one will be due. So your assignments are always going to be due Sunday evening. So make sure you're getting them done in the week that they are assigned. So this one is going to be due on the 26th. Okay. So if you're watching this ahead of time, remember, I don't put these the big ideas out until that Monday. So expect that you're going to see the big ideas come up on the 20th. So for this week, because this is going to be for week 5. And so it will always be up on that Monday. So it's going to be 4/20 when this assignment gets uploaded. It'll be due that Sunday. So it's going to be due on the 26th. Okay. If at any point you have questions, please let me know. Make sure you're watching your videos because I will ask you for your code word, okay? Otherwise, please tune in for the next video and have a really good day. I miss you all. Bye.